So now we would be looking towards interpolation of a keyframe. It is basically the animation behavior of a keyframe. So there are different kinds of interpolation. One is linear, the other is Bezier, then it's auto Bezier, then it's continuous Bezier, then the next is hold, ease in, and ease out. So what are these basically? These are different kinds of behaviors of your clip or any kind of other images you want the behavior to be. So linear is it creates a uniform rate of change between keyframes, and if you see the graph, it's quite linear and there is no smooth, like there is no smooth animation. So we will look into linear now. Let's come to this image. It's a still image in our edit which we had used. I would select this, and if you see here, the scale is 126 as we had upscaled it earlier, as it was creating black space if the size was 100. So let's make to 126, and I would toggle for animation here, toggle animation, and at this point I would again add a keyframe here. So I would say add or remove keyframe. Now what I want is I want its size to be 170. So I'll enter that. So let's check this now. And I want to be a bit faster, so I would shift my keyframe. Yeah, so this is a very linear kind of animation, and if you see the keyframes here, this icon itself shows it's a linear keyframe. Now suppose I want this animation to be a bit smooth, so we want a Bezier animation. So let's check what is a Bezier animation. So Bezier lets us basically Bezier lets us manually adjust the shape of the graph and the rate of change on either side of a keyframe, like we had created two keyframes on our image in Premiere, which the value of 126 and the next was 170. And you can create your animation very smooth using this Bezier frames. Let's check that now. So I would select this and I would go to this keyframe and I would right click here and would say, right now if you see it's linear and I would like to make it to Bezier. So if you see now, the icon has been changed here. I'll just zoom in so that you get a clear vision of this. The icon here has been changed and this keyframe remains the same linear. Now let's check the animation. So it's a pretty soft fade kind of animation behavior. Let's decrease the position for this. I hope you are able to make the difference. Let me show linear once again so that you are able to get the actual difference between linear and Bezier. This is the linear. If you see, it gradually ends on a very rough manner and it's not a bit smooth. Now let's check Bezier. So if you see this, yeah, it is ending up very smooth. Now what is auto Bezier? I'll make this linear again and I would make this as auto Bezier. Auto Bezier, it also creates a smooth rate of change through a keyframe, and as we change the keyframes value, the auto bezier direction handles change to maintain a smooth transition between keyframes. Let's check that now. So it again creates a very smooth kind of scale up. It's a very smooth animation. So let me show you by adding one more keyframe. On this point, if I add a keyframe, by default it would change it to auto bezier. So if you see here, there is no linear keyframe now. So I would move this value here. So the value for this was 159, and what it would do is it would the animation from 126 to 159 would be very fast, and the animation from 159.9 from till 170 would be a bit slow. Let's check it out. Now what if I change the first keyframe to 126 to again auto bezier? Let's see. Initially it is creating a very speed up kind of scale up. So let's shift this and this a bit. This is very smooth, as I want my initial scale up to be a bit fast. What we can do is, instead of 159, we can make this down to 140. This to maybe 190. What I would do is I would just delete this audio as of now, as it is creating and calculating on my RAM, and it's creating a bit of load on it. So I don't want anything to be played in my sound. So yeah, it is creating a very smooth animation. So this was auto bezier. Basically, bezier and auto bezier, they create smooth animation. It depends again on what is the user's requirement.